Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes to help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is. Really important when you're dealing with, people that say one thing and do something else that trigger us. We always want to know because if we understand why someone's triggering us, we can actually implement different habits, different behaviorisms to to counteract that trigger, right? It's all about learning. If someone triggers us, it means that we're stuck in a perception. And that perception, a lot of times, is showing us something within inside of ourselves, right? Showing us something that we need to heal within ourselves. However, we get triggered, we ruminate, we get stuck, and that takes us out of the present moment. And only in the now do you get divine guidance. And it's really important to always stay connected to your higher self. And the way that we can stay connected to the higher self is really when we're in the present moment. When we get triggered, we're no longer in the present moment. We are going back to a time that that wound originated. And that is usually within our inner child. Doesn't need to be in childhood, but many times it originated in childhood. If it originated in childhood, we continue to see negative patterns play out within our relationships or within our finances or within health. Understand all these imbalances that manifest within the physical realm are signs that we are disconnected from our higher self, from that God part of self, from the universe. See, God created the universe, and so it's an extension of its energy. So it knows what to bring you to heal, to revert your energy back to its original energy of unconditional love. We're born into families, and collectively, we're born into a society that's in balance. There's nothing that's balanced because people are all living from their level of consciousness. And sometimes that level of consciousness was derived from trauma, and sometimes it was derived from entitlement. I mean, we have all different types of people and the perceptions of what life is supposed to look like. So, yeah, the universe will always bring us what we need to heal. Now, it doesn't mean that it's comfortable. It's not. So, the best thing that we can do is really train our nervous system if we're someone that has gone through a lot of trauma. And because again, our chakras interact with the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the skeleton system, all major systems of the physical body. So that's why spiritual issues eventually manifest as physical issues. So it's important to know. All right, now we're going to jump into the reading, Scorpio. But before we do, I just want you to know that today at 4:30 is the Shadow Healing Coaching Program. Group coaching, $7.99 gets you inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma, breath work, meditation, tapping, and so much more. And we use my Oracle deck. And my Oracle deck is actually a system. It has over 100 different shadow healing exercises. We do Oracle cards. We're interactive. It's all about healing. And I will be doing a live stream tonight for Scorpio as well. So if you missed today's I mean, you're not going to see this live because this isn't done live. But if you missed, you know, a time that I was online, just know that I will be on again tonight at 8:30 p.m. All right. Anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box. Now, let's see what the underlining energy is. The underlining energy is always on the first two cards that I pull out. And that just tells us why everyone does what they do. And very important when you're dealing with a person that creates facades and illusions, you know. All right. So let's see. Reactive. Interesting. I'm feeling something already. Hmm. Betrayal. You know, there was a time I feel, Scorpio, that people would really be able to say things to you that would trigger you. Like you would be, because you would see it as, disrespect, where I feel like you're connected to someone that wants you to be reactive. They deliberately not giving you anything for a long time. They've ran around with a lot of different people, and whether that's just as friends or whether that's like again that they were hooking up with people. This person was trying to create the illusion that they were the catch, that they were the prize, because they wanted you to act a certain way clearly. And I feel like they did everything to get you to react. I mean, everything. And you didn't react. And so it's almost like this is big time healing for you. This is big time healing because what you're seeing is you're mastering emotional intelligence, and that's huge. And the irony is I feel like now this person is being reactive because they're like, well, their little game of thinking that they were going to get underneath your skin and you were going to react and then you guys were going to start talking and then they would be able to smooth their way back in. That's not working. That's not working. There, you're not giving them an opening. And so now this person is forced to see how they treated you. Because what you're saying is, I'm not letting you back in here. You didn't apologize to me. You haven't talked to me. You ghosted me. You didn't take my feelings into consideration. Like you're saying all this without saying a damn word. And this person knows it. And so I feel like they're reactive because they're in a place of fear because what they see is, well, you got to a place of I'm not tolerating it anymore. Like it become actually intolerant to them and their nonsense. Where you're not seeing them the same way anymore. And that's the energy where at one time you might have thought that this person was somebody, where now there's a sense of you can't see past their selfishness, because they decided to keep this in a place of imbalance where I'm not going to give you anything. I'm not going to apologize to you. I'm not going to, do anything because I want everything my way. So instead, I'm going to abandon you because this person's insecure. And it goes back to the simple place of, oh no, you disrespected me. Where this person's used to people kind of looking the other way at their behavior. They're very good looking. Someone that, like I said, I feel like is very smooth, very charming, very, has that personality to turn it on. I even feel like witty, like even if it's a guy, just somebody that's, you know, is a chameleon, can become everything that you want them to become once they're in. And that's the survival. That's a survival mechanism, by the way, where you just felt attacked by the constant need to assume that you were doing something or saying something when really it's what this person was doing. They assumed that you were gonna like, react and again fight for this connection or, plead for your space almost where you were like, no. You don't know anything about me. You haven't taken the time to get to know me, and this is what you think I'm going to be like? No, they were used to being able to deal with other people that way, unfortunately. So what happened is it's like you just felt like over time, this person just when the more that they didn't get, the more that again you were ignored Again, the expectations, like your expectations weren't met. Instead, you felt again forgotten about. It became all about that. It became all about, you're not going to do what I want. I'm going to keep abandoning you. I'm going to stonewall you. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to give you a little breadcrumb. And then I'm going to leave. And then I'm going to come back maybe 2 weeks later. And then the more that you didn't change, the gap became more and more and more and more because this person really thought that you were going to react. They did everything to get you to react, and they just can't believe it. They just can't believe, that you're not. This person is used to playing so many games. It's not even funny, you know. They have no empathy for people, and that's the thing. This connection really should have like warmed their heart because there was a connection, but they don't really believe. And if they, believe, allow themselves, they don't respond in the way that they should. I mean, obviously, if you have empathy for someone and you see that they're going through a hard time and you like them, you should, you should extend yourself. This person doesn't want to do that, didn't want to do that. They created a lot of like pretended that they didn't really know, almost like it was an obligation, and it was unclear what they wanted. And that's the whole thing. It's like that's how they always did it. But then they wanted to control the narrative. So everything was a power struggle for them. Everything. And so instead of this person letting you in and getting to know you over time, it's like, well, no, because that wasn't going to do for them because they wanted to do that with you and a lot of other people because they wound up doing what they wanted to do. They wanted either way they were going to do it is what I feel like you came to this realization. If you're with them and you look the other way, they're going to run around with other people. If you're not with them, well, they're going to punish you and keep scaring you and by running around with other people so you can fight for your place. So either way, they wanted to do what they did. And so that's the thing. This person tried to control the narrative because they didn't really know what they wanted. But how do you know what you want unless you give it time? This person never gave it time. They didn't give it enough time. It's like as soon as it got off the ground, they got in their own way. And so, and again, you weren't laying it to rest. You weren't going to let it go. And so that's the thing. They needed to heal this so that you would like release the animosity because this person like kept thinking that they were going to treat you badly because they didn't know what they wanted. But they did what they wanted to do, which is act childish, like act not serious, okay? Acting immature. Like again, making everything like it wasn't really that big of a deal. No, but knowing damn well they're coming in and they're gonna want you to get caught up in the drama because guess what? If I'm talking to other people, then and now I'm talking to you, well, that's going to might cause problems between you and whoever they're talking to. So the triangles. And then this person wants to come in and out and do whatever the hell they want to do when they want to do it. And like I said, they thought that they were going to like stonewall you and emotionally manipulate you in order to like lower your standard. And it's almost like, again, what they were taught. And that's being growing up in a like trauma bond type of thing where their mother and father, had that type of connection, and that was one person was dominant over the other, and that's like, and got to do whatever the hell that they wanted to do. So again, a father that was with a mother that cheated all the time, or the mother that checked out, but it's that. Where this person has a real fear around relationships and about really just not knowing who they are. So what do? They escape. That's what this person does. Now they're not in that mode because they're not drinking all the time. However, they're paranoid. They're paranoid because they know that they never asked for forgiveness. that they're stressed out now because they know that they were lazy, that they were running around getting sex from everybody else. And so now they already know that you're going to reject them. So there's a part of this person that now is like intimidated by you. And that, but they're going to act like they're the victim. Like, oh, you're so mean, that you're so this, where it's again, no, the whole time they were projecting and they gave nothing. They gave nothing. So you're like, no, you kept me out of your situation. Uh-uh. You wanted to intimidate me, but really you're the one that's inadequate. And that's the thing. Like this person did what they did, and now they're realizing like that their game didn't play, but their game got carried away. They took it to the extreme because they really thought that you were going to cave. They swore, they would swore that that would happen, and they just can't believe it. And so this person that does this a lot to people, they do it a lot. It's how they learn to be in relationships. Like you said, it's a family pattern. It's like when they were brought up, hey, somebody had to be the dominant one. Someone had to be in control. And I don't want to be the person that, you know, gets told what to do and has to give up their life. So they're the avoidant. They don't want to give up their life. That's the biggest fear. It's like, oh, I'm going to be dominated by you. No, I'm going to dominate you. Where really, it's like they're not fair. It's one's like being a one-sided connection and they don't give energy to anybody. So, of course, not enough to build an emotional connection where they would actually care how they treated you. And that's what it is. They just, saw you as, whatever. I'm ashamed of how I treated you. That's they do. Because they're again saying, I see it, but like almost like you were right there. Why didn't I take advantage when you were there? Like, why didn't I see what I see now? I run away to avoid facing my problems. This person knows damn well because they run away from facing their problems. That you guys had a problem because they wanted to treat you a certain way and you weren't taking it. So they got caught up in that power struggle where, again, you're going to control my life. So again, they were avoidant, tried to get underneath your skin, get things their way so that you would cave. Again, where there's always something that they're hiding from you. And I feel like their addiction problems, again, whether that's talking to people, whether that's drinking too much, I'm filled with regret. So again, this is where they are because it's like, how do you recover? You were right there. They could have nurtured you. They could have grown this connection into something strong. And now like you're like, no. And they know it. They know it. You got intolerant. I wish I could turn back the clock and do things over. So again, more and more regret, 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 but they never apologized. So, they didn't want to. They didn't want to do that, because it was going to be too much of a headache. You know what I mean? Where really they were looking to do things easy. So now again, they're in a place of hardship because they destroyed this connection, you know? It was an accident. They took it too far. They took it too far. I feel like they took a chance again and they weren't fair. But, because they couldn't decide. That's what happened. And they don't know really how to fix it, because so much time has gone by, and they tend to not be emotionally available to deal with this type of situation. Because they would have to come back and be compassionate and ask for forgiveness and come back with their tail between their legs. And they don't want to do that on some level because that's going to require emotional intelligence where they're looking at you as a person and they haven't taken the time to really nurture this connection. Everything was an argument, everything was a fight, everything had to be their way. And again, and their way was not fair. But are they in regret? Absolutely. Do I see them doing anything? No, because they're not emotionally like available to do so. I don't know how to fix this, is what that means. We have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? Resilience. We look at the inner child wounds to see. All right. And with one more for great measure. Okay, we're gonna see what are we got going on. We got unworthy, we got abuse, we got magic, we got play, we got suppression, and we got cleanse, and we got wonder. Okay, so it's almost like 50-50, you know? It's like you can see why you attracted this person. This person made you feel unworthy. It was psychological abuse of, again, suppressing who you are. It's like almost like you were too big for your britches. Like you triggered this person because I feel like you live your truth. And they, though they didn't understand what your truth was, they're seeing who you are now. They didn't see, your capabilities and all the gifts and everything that's good that's going to come to you because you were true to yourself. They're in regret now, but they're in regret because they know how they treated you, that they treated you unworthy, that they were abusive, that they tried to suppress your light, that again when you were growing up, that's how you felt, the same exact way, feeling unworthy, abused, suppressed, and that affected how you went out and played. So what does that mean? Children go out and play to find themselves, to meet different people, to discover, like, again, what they like, what they don't like. It's the development of their individuality. We all are unique in our own way, our likes, our dislikes, and again, that was suppressed. And it was almost like this person, like, again, wanted to steal your energy, that you're like focused on creating you. And I say that because look, we got magic here. So magic is the fact that you and spirit are close, that you are a good manifester. You can create things, even though relationships may be difficult when it comes to creating like your own life. You don't have a problem like getting a job, getting things that you want. You know, you always had that. And I feel like, that was an escape growing up. It's like yes, you weren't really allowed to go out and find yourself as much if you were in a place of suppression and in a place of being abused. Again, your mind's going to be there, but it's also going to be detached and disassociated. And that's why they say the child that survives thrives, because they're able to tap into the imagination. They're able to tap into that realm. And so the thing is, it's like what you displayed from childhood is resilience. You're strong. You know how to cleanse yourself of bad energy. And that's because, again, you have magic. And magic is to be able to manifest, to be able to create a way where there is no way, to create yourself, where this person wasn't doing that. They were so busy running around with people and trying to manipulate you. They wanted you to like fall for them, and chase them, and you weren't going to give up who you are. And that kind of pissed this person off because they didn't expect that. They never expected, they figured for sure you would run after them, and you were like, no. Again, the wonders of you, the wonders of the world. It's like you didn't know them because, again, you were suppressed. There was abuse. So, were you able to create certain things for yourself? Yes, you're a good manifester. However, your passion, your soul's path, like really your divine life, like the passion for life, no, you weren't able to like to do that because you were suppressed even though that magic was always there. Understand it was being cultivated in childhood from like detachment, disassociation. Now, again, this person didn't give you anything. You put your energy into yourself. Now you're manifesting. So this person is seeing everything now and they're like so pissed off because they're like, you're going to have a good life. And it's like, and you are going to have a good life. They can't affect you. You already see who they are. So you're not going to, be with them because of that. And it's to know, like, it's too little, too late, and that's what really needs to be looked at this stage of the game. They they screwed it up, you know, and they know that they screwed it up, and you because you do not see them the same way. So we have to say, well, what are we supposed to do with the negative energy? Because the situation definitely created negative energy. Why did this happen? We always have to alchemize the energy, and that's embody a new consciousness. And so spirit says, first and foremost, is to let go of who you were, to realize who you are, release the past. Then it's to go on the grand journey. And yes, understand that all experiences, good or bad, shapes your soul's evolution. And so it was to learn and grow. It's to be able to look at the situation from a different perception, again, because you gain deep wisdom. And now you have the answers to like what you want and what you don't want and what to look for in a good person. And, you know, how you contributed to the imbalances within the connection, which was all about facing your fears. Again, because fear isn't real. What it is it's a false false evidence perceived to be real, but it's not real. It's part of the imagination. So we don't want to focus on our fears. And the only way that we can really do that, because a reptilian mind will always want to focus on the fears, is to actually go through the experience. And Spirit says, and then take time out. Don't just run out and like, try and meet someone else and be like, take time out to create a sacred space for you so you can tap into the higher self to utilize that wisdom of what you learned. Again, to really process what you've gone through so you can cleanse. You can cleanse with tranquil time to reflect. Just spending time with yourself. Might maybe take journaling, do some journaling, you know what I mean? So that you can get clear on the things that, you want and you don't want, within your life. Because infinite possibilities are there for you. It's again that you're here to fulfill your promise and understand because you grew up the way that you did, this person would have like didn't see everything. And that's because the divine protects when the person is in alignment. If they're really trying to work on creating themselves and trying to put the energy forth, then God's going to protect, is going to make sure that that person can't come in, that the universe is going to make sure that that person gets derailed somehow, that there's obstacles in the way so that no one can take what's yours. Only you could take what's yours if you would have entertained this energy, which they swore to God that you would. So that's why they're so mad because you were right here. And instead of nurturing this and growing this and being able to be a part of the blessing, they screwed themselves out of the blessing, which wasn't just you, it's whatever you're creating, whatever you're doing. Infinite possibilities for you, abundance right there. So we end off with one more, and that is, let's check it out, is the voice of the heart. Silence the fear in you and discover the voice of your heart. The fruit of these words guides you. Trust the song of your soul. Your intuition leads you on the path to light. So it's again, when we say listen to the heart, it doesn't mean run to that a new relationship. What it means is your passion for life. When you find your passion for life, your cup will be overflow. You'll have ton to give, but you have to silence the fear. And the fear is again not real. It's false evidence perceived to be real, a lot of times just based on past experiences. So you have to learn how to trust yourself. That's why Spirit said take time out to create a sacred space. So you begin to really have a great connection to the higher self. Again, that God part of self, because God's never outside of you, it's inside of you. But we have to quiet the mind, get out of fear in order to heal it, hear it. And when we hear it and we act on how it guides us, well, it brings us to the light. It's helping us revert our energy back to its original energy, which is the same energy as it, which is unconditional love. So I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. Don't forget, 4:30 today is your shadow healing coaching. If you've signed up for that, and if you haven't, there's still time. It's just $7.99 a month. You can't beat it for inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. If you find yourself in the same types of karmic loops, karmic cycles, karmic contracts that just keep you bound to an energy of lack, feeling not good enough, not having enough, not worthy, shame, guilt, any lower energy, well, then this is going to be the coaching program for you because, again, you got traumatized usually by yourself, and healing in a group is very therapeutic and the group is very interactive. Okay, that's how it's going to be designed to be. The more people that we get, the more interactive. And yes, you guys get your own live streams, you get your own games. Okay, we do games, do giveaways and a lot of other fun stuff. So again, check it out. And I will be on live for the non-subscribers later on tonight. All right. Until next time, be true to you. Love yourself. Remember that because you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. Not so much about how we treat others, it's how we treat ourselves. We treat ourselves well, then we're going to teach people how we want to be treated. Doesn't mean that we don't think about how we need to treat other people. But the focus isn't on so much, I need to treat somebody else so nice while I'm treating myself badly. People that need healing tend to focus on making other people comfortable when they're not comfortable, is what I'm trying to get at. We always want to treat people nice. And we do want to treat people the way we want to be treated, but we need to treat ourselves that way first so that we're teaching people without saying it. Because people don't listen to what you say, they listen to what you do. All right. Until next time, bye bye.